Hey there, everybody. Nice to see ya. This is episode 42 of Project 2 of The Joy of Functional Game Dev. And I do have some sad news for you. If you have managed to watch this far, I give you full credit. But this will be the final episode of Project 2 for a number of reasons. I'm looking right here at the properties of the video that I made for episode 41. And I can see that it was made on 4/11 of 2016 and it is now 5/27 of 2016. That is a long time to go in between videos, especially in a series like this. Not that anybody watching in the future knows that there any time at all has passed, because who really checks that sort of thing? But so a couple of things happened. One, as I'm sure in the last few episodes, I think I seem to recall coughing a lot. I was sick for most of April. I have 3 small children, and one of them goes to public school, which means that my household is constantly in a state of having a cold or something. And it was pretty bad to the point where I could not record without coughing and hacking my head off. And right when that started to subside, that's when work became crunch mode, and I was staying late at work. I was still sick, and so on and so forth. And while we're doing this, we're gonna play Island Interloper just while we're playing anyway. See what, I don't even remember what sort of state we were left in. Well, that's an interesting. I'll do a quest. I need work. Right. No problem. I got into crunch mode at work. Now, you will all be pleased to know that crunch mode is basically over. We go into production actually on Tuesday, and part of the production code does include a Windows service that hosts a WCF service that was written well, the service itself was written in F#. It consumes a more or less a middle tier that was written in C#, but that's about as much as I can get my coworkers to stand my obsession with F#. But so still shipped some F# code, so that counts for something. And then in addition, as this month has gone along, for one thing, I'd have to get back in here and figure out where I am. Omaha. There's actually an island called Omaha. Just noticed that. All right. Oh, there it is. Going to Omaha. The generator. Oh, I've run into a storm. Poor me. But so, and just as crunch mode disappeared, I live in Wisconsin, and those of you who live in places like Wisconsin know that the bad weather time is a long bad weather time, and it was cold up until about a week ago. Deliberate. Do they have a thing? What do I want to do? So we're gonna go to Hippo. Let's go, or Hippo, really. All right, going the right way. So as it has finally gotten a little bit better here and there. It was cold a lot. But what happens is that some things like lawn maintenance to take time, and other things. Seems to be a lot of activity where you got to go over to people's houses for things whenever the weather starts to get better. So okay, so that's my litany of excuses, and in reality I have lost interest in this project because there's nothing new that I'm doing. I'm doing functions, I'm doing folds, I'm doing unfolds. I've done some other F# projects on the side. I'm doing a couple other things, mostly for work, where using classes, using EDMX type providers, using agents. And that's really cool stuff, but this project is where this project is, and I don't think refactoring it from this point would be. People shouldn't have to watch 41 episodes in order for me to get to an interesting part where now suddenly I'm using an agent. So we're going to switch over to a different project. We're going to go to project 3, but an interesting thing that happened is that I was suddenly um, or I kind of got my stuff got used. My stuff got used by um, by a guy doing a presentation in wherever that thing was. So there's a I'm looking it up in uh, my other keyboard on my other monitor. Where are we at? And yeah, so the Dragon Treats video. So which was at the F Sharp Exchange 2016 on the 15th of April. And then I finally got a, hey, by the way, I used your F Sharp STL wrapper tweet either yesterday or today. And so I'm like, okay, that's very, very cool. I immediately, watch the whole thing, of course. And then I'm like, well, so then I immediately said, all right, let's take a look at your codes. Yep. What's going on here? Ah, there it is. Okay. And I looked at the codes, and so I watched the whole thing, and he didn't like, the one thing that he didn't really like was the PX unit of measure that I have on there, and for a while I'm like, okay, well, for one thing, I need to, I guess, complete my STL wrapper, because if people are going to use it, then that's cool. But then I got to think about, well, let's actually do a project, because this was a quickly put together game, and if you watch Project 3, you'll see, at least from the initial state of the code, like, oh yeah, that was a quickly let's get something running kind of code, versus here's how to structure a little bit better. And that's not really a criticism. I write code the same way. You've watched me write code exactly the same way. Here's some stuff that works, and then we'll go back later and we'll make it better. And that's, I believe, how you should just actually do things. So we're going to say goodbye to Island Interloper. And really, the rest of the project would be, and this interaction with this shows this dialogue and these choices, and the rest of it is more or less academic. So I don't really know how to end it. So thanks for stopping, and as always, keep the joy of functional game dev in your heart. And we'll see you next time.